We've all had our fair share of struggles, of letdowns, of too many no's. And if that is part of the things that are stealing your joy and making your life difficult, then please don't forget that time will go by. And it already feels like even this year that I've made so many mistakes already. With deadlines lurking and projects barking in the background, I can hardly commit to anything else because I am trying to not feel overwhelmed. But all these decisions to set better intentions and get in on the action before I actually draw each day to a close is making my head spin with all the decisions I need to make in my design business. And it all feels like such a heavy load at the end of the day because everything comes together, whether I'm trying to catch up, whether I'm trying to ward off fear, or whether that critic is coming in to work in the garden of my mind. Now, I've heard from a dear friend lately that they have lost that loving feeling. And I know what that feels like. And if you have fallen out of love with your life lately, let's look at a few things that might be going on in the back of your mind. And I've wondered, have you asked yourself these things lately? Where will I find time to create? When will I make enough space in my life to be myself again? Maybe you are trying to catch up with the 3 courses you signed up for last year and just feel too guilty and overwhelmed to get to them. Or is it that there are so many things happening in your day-to-day events that you just don't have time to catch up with your friends? Now, I wanted a break, and I just wouldn't allow myself to have that break. But when one of my friends texted me and said, "Hey, do you want to catch up with coffee before I head out to the farm?" I knew that was the perfect excuse I needed to step away from the studio and go there, have coffee with her, and catch up. But the text messages was, well, that specific text message was exactly what I needed. It was the perfect low impact thing to say yes to. And it was also the highest reward to help me out of this pit of overwhelm. It was such a much needed relief and the support I needed because I needed to tell someone about my hopes and my dreams. And I also needed that reassurance and encouragement. And who better to do that than our friends? Now, I know that we don't all have great friends, but you could be a great friend. Are you the type of person who helps your friends through difficult things at work? Are you the type of friend that encourages your friends through messages? Or are you the type that makes them that special cup of coffee? Now, if you are a darling friend like that, who cares about your friends' dreams and how their wild ideas come together, you will be the one that will enjoy a cup of coffee with them so that they can have that taste for life and bring about that enthusiasm again. You might be the very person that your friends need to feel inspired and elevated again. So let's say you can get into this connection with your friends and you can support someone, or maybe you can reach out in support of someone to help you. Then there's this beautiful thing that happens in this human to human connection. And it's different to picking up your phone and scrolling endlessly. And it's like a hug that you need now, but that doesn't feel like a short-term fix. Now, when you can plan a little get-together like that, you'll also find that it diminishes that inner critic, that person that's constantly trying to talk you out of the things you need to do. And it's like the garden of your mind is also replenished with new ideas. Now, I'm not talking about those friends who continue on with the negativity and with whom you feel so drained and unalive when you visited them. I am talking about the friends who can help you with your ideas, who can bring about more and more enthusiasm for the things you really want to create. Now, if you have outgrown your ideas, there might be some weeds smothering your big dreams. There may be things that grow seeds of self-doubt. And there's nothing wrong with a few little weeds, but as soon as those things start to impact the actions you take and the steps you take forward, then it is time for you to discover how to get rid of those weeds. And we have a resource like that for you to download. We sometimes refer to it as the weed eater. And this PDF is called Overcoming the Dream Crushing Weeds. Now, if you're reading this on our blog article, that's nearly similar to today's video, you will understand why that document is so important. It is the helping hand you might need today to flush out some of those weeds, to roll your thoughts into a more positive frame of mind and get the gears ticking for a new idea. It might be the encouragement you need. And if you don't have friends, maybe this PDF can help you. And alongside that, you'll find that there are follow-up things that you'll be introduced to in the next coming days or weeks after you've downloaded that PDF. And there's even a video that will help you even further to pick out the weeds, to maybe pinpoint certain things that you need to work on. And if you're a creative or an artist or a designer or somebody who needs that creative spark set alight again, then I want to encourage you to start noticing where in your life you have weeds. We tend to bury those weeds in our thoughts or in our feelings, and all of that prevents us from taking action. Now, I don't want you to stand in the garden of your mind with all those weeds surrounding you. I want you to clear them out so that you can pursue your big dreams. Because while you are still in that place where the weeds are growing in the places where your blossoms are supposed to be, there's not enough place or room for your new ideas to grow. And if that can't grow, your life becomes this mindless chase after chaos that never comes to a point or never becomes something beautiful. Now, I want you to print out that PDF. Maybe invite a friend along. Let them print out the PDF. Make yourselves a cup of tea and sit down and reflect back and forth what each other's weeds are and how you can create a certain harmony and optimism so that you can get the ball rolling to flush out the weeds in this inner garden so that you can have the skills or even the abilities to be more mindful in the actions you take forward. Now, there are many hurdles we as creatives have to overcome. And these mindful practices really don't cost us anything, but they contain the rewards of joy that our human souls need most. And if you don't have anyone to text, go into your garden or wander into a nearby park. And once there, give yourself a few minutes to take a few deep breaths. It's in this present moment that you discover a gift that you might not have allowed yourself to feel. And with it comes the importance of your next inhale and the next choice you'll make. Because it only takes something simple like a next choice to release your mind into a space where you can do the things you need to do to move your entire creative career forward. Now, if you've noticed that you sort of settle down in those outdated thoughts, that the heavy load of all the things you want to do is just becoming too much, and you realize that your hopes and dreams have been falling in the background of your life, then maybe that was the reason you're not feeling like you're in love with your life anymore. And if you don't feel in love with your life anymore, it's because of those thoughts that are not aligning with the focus and the clearer thinking you could be doing. And as you know, indecision wrecks our best laid plans. And when you fall off the wagon so many times, it's time for you to have a rejuvenating break and deal with these internal fears. If that is something you want to fix, then watch your thoughts, count your blessings, and make sure you take a deep breath before you make that next decision. We have a few weeds growing in our inner garden from time to time, but those shouldn't become the driving force behind the special things you want to do for yourself. I want you to pick up that document and stop neglecting your needs. Make time to give yourself that beautiful promise of working through some of these things, reflecting and then connecting and then making a decision. And assuring yourself that the death of fear will bring you closer to the better feeling, and above else, to make your opinions count. I know it's difficult when we have so many things bombarding us, but life will give you something to breathe easy about if you start aligning with the things you want to express your creativity into. Now, growth isn't always something we can easily do. But if you wrap that little bits of growth, remember I'm talking about the small wins, those little things we do that we can look back on and say, right, I've accomplished this. I'm really proud of myself. So what can I do next? And if you wrap that in the love of the thing you enjoy doing most, then nothing can stand in your way. I had to do this whole talk to myself earlier this week when I felt overwhelmed and when I wasn't seeing that my gifts were giving back. And yes, I've been doing this for many years, and I still have, from time to time, little weeds creeping in, as I tend to forget to sit down and reflect and check in with myself. Am I moving forward? Am I doing the things I need to be doing now? Or am I filling my creative genius with more weeds? So take a deep breath and move yourself closer to doing something better to overcome the dream crushing weeds. And through mastering yourself and becoming the person who can blossom and grow, you also find this mindful thing called reflection as one of the beautiful actions you can take to move your entire career forward. And always remember that I am on the other side. I have open studio sessions. There are things you can dive into that can ignite your creativity, that can help you overcome those dream crushing weeds. And if you really want to follow along with this journey as I guide you and help you, and sometimes stand there saying, pick out this weed, do this thing, come on, let's go, then I will be your cheerleader and cheering you on from the side to do more of the things that you love doing. All right. Happy, creative, playful, mindful things will come your way once you decide what you are going to do next. It's all about your next choice and your next action and the next thing you are going to do. And if you're looking for those links, they are all in the description below.